The autumn wind is an agent, blustering in from the streets. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a logo jacket, with a red, white, and blue farmer's hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, representing farmers big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he provides them coverage of gold. The autumn wind is a raider, producing just for fun. He'll advise you round and upside down, and laugh when he's conquered.
First of all, I want to thank Andres for doing this today. His time is valuable, as you'll see, and we're very appreciative because he's got a lot to share. So a little bit about Andres. He's a multiple Topper Club qualifier. And the thing is that his results over the last, well, I think every year, but certainly since he's been in District 88, and it has very little to do with us, his results have improved every year, which is phenomenal. And he has and I've told him this, he has the same character traits as the other two agents that we're doing as part of this Superstar webinar series, Tony and Christy. It's all about humility, and the reason you can tell that is, when you got these agents, and with many of you out there, if you're great, you don't have to tell anybody. They know. So the humility, being humble is a big part of it. Honesty, desire. I mean, he wants to win. This agency does the right thing for the right reasons, and really is not interested in doing things outside the lines. And he's a giver, and he's a team guy, a team player. Whenever I've asked him to do something, whether it was the training out in the freaking parking lot last summer or whatever it was, he came out, and he and Patrick did that, which was fantastic. So thanks for offering up your time today to contribute and make your fellow District 88ers better. Absolutely. Okay. So we've got kind of a list of questions, and we're just gonna have a conversation about sport. No, I'm just kidding. So why'd you become a farmer's agent? How did it all happen?
Well, the story behind, and it's gonna sound weird. We're actually gonna buy a book of business from Allstate, and then that didn't work out, and then we found out you couldn't do commercial with Allstate. So now we knew from the beginning we wanted to do commercial, because we also know that that's where the money's at. We also know that you can impact one client, and from there you can actually, for example, you insure one restaurant, you can get the workers, and but we found the benefits of becoming a farmer's agent when we found out that you could do commercial, which is the biggest thing. We wanted to do commercial. Second, you own the book. You will always own the book. The book is yours. That doesn't happen with other companies. With State Farm, with Allstate, you only own the book until you're there. Once you're retired, the company owns the book, and that has no value. And with farmers, you own the book. The book has value. The possibilities are endless on that part. And then we knew that we could do not only just commercial, but we could write policies to people that have no license. You can write everything with farmers. If you find a client, it's really hard to turn them down, because you have everything you need to do it with farmers. And that was one of the main reasons. Again, we knew we wanted to do commercial. We knew since we started doing insurance that was what we wanted to do. And that's the reason.
Because you came from a real estate background,
yeah,
right?
Commercial real estate too. So we know, there's money on everything if you put your mind into it, but commercial it's a little bit more work, but it's a little bit more rewarding. So.
And that's one of the things that Andres has always said to me is, we are a commercial agency because that's what we wanted to become.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, that again, like he said, that's where the money is. If you're going to write stuff, write commercial, write life. Um, yeah, so great. Okay, how big was your first office?
We're sitting on my first office. We uh we list this office not knowing if we were gonna make it or not. At the time, there was no option of buying a book. When we started Farmers, we had to write our first our first policy here, and we didn't have an option of buying a book or none of that. So
Right.
we're sitting on my office. We're sitting on my first office. Looks a little bit different now, but we're sitting on my first office.
Because how many square feet is it now?
This is, I believe, 2,000 square feet. But
Okay.
and I mean, there's a lot of dead space, but we also make it a point to have like a nice conference room, not for us, but for the clients. When you want to do a presentation to a client, you don't want to bring him just right here, especially if it's like 2, 3 owners of a business. You want to have a place where they feel comfortable. And one thing that I would like to say about having a nice office. The office is not for the agent. The office is for the client. What you're doing to your office is offering a place for your clients. So I mean, I know there's a lot of people that make it work in a small office, and that's perfect. But this office is not for me. This office I make it comfortable for the client. I make sure that I have parking spots for the client. I make sure that we have a place in the lobby where they can sit, you know, keeping the office clean, those things. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not so much, I mean, I can do this from home, but we chose to do this for the client, not for us. So um, that's really the bottom line. And why not make it look nice? Why not have something nice if you're here? I'm here more than I'm on my house. So.
Right. Well, and I think the other thing is you guys, you planned ahead. So like you call it dead space, but I've seen it start to get filled over the course of time.
Right.
So that's excellent planning. Um, what motivates you?
So as far as getting new clients or
Just in general, you already said part of it being a commercial agency. And the right answer for everybody is money.
yeah, but also the biggest thing, if you want to get motivated, get out of your comfort zone. You can't just sit here and expect for clients to come in the door. They do come in the door, but that took years for that to happen. Most of the time I had this office empty because I was outside knocking on people's doors. Was it comfortable? No, I had to get out of my comfort zone and go to a restaurant, sit down and eat, and really, prepare myself to ask who's the owner or who's the manager. And after that, you throw your shot and hope you're aiming right, and they'll give you a shot. They'll give you a chance. And that, once you get out of the comfort zone, it's not that it motivates you, is that you have to stick to the plan, and that will push you. Because if you stick to the comfort zone, that's place, you will never make it out. So I mean, I started with restaurants, then I started with stores, and now I'm trying to go to like construction companies, and and now you start with, I don't know, little mama papa shops. I remember I started with one restaurant, and then from there I was like, oh, I'm good at restaurants, and then now I keep raising the bar, or we keep raising the bar here. And I also I want to make it a big point of this agency. I have a great team. It's not just me. It's a great team that if I get out, I know things are going to get done here at the office. So I cannot take all the credit. But getting out of the comfort zone, I always come back with something new, and they're like, what? Lumber yard? And yeah, how are we going to do that? That's our job now. So that's, raising the bar is what keeps you motivated. So.
Okay, so that kind of leads to a question that's further down the list is, are you a systems person, a process person, a planner, or all of the above?
I've always, I think I shared with you plenty of times, and with some other agents that have called me personally, there has to be a system, but it's more about consistency, discipline. The system has to be consistent, not complicated, consistent. If they know that if I left something pending and I call and I'm like, hey, can you take care of this? They know it'll be at the end of my desk. Or if they're not here and they're on vacation, I know what to do with the client because we have a system. It's a circle. And if that person is not in that circle because he's on vacation, I know I can pick up where that person left off. And, it has to be simple but consistent. It's about discipline, not so much. I mean, you can put all the systems in place, but if it's complicated, nobody's going to follow it. So I think that's the answer to that.
Okay. No,
That's simple and consistent.
that's perfect. What do you believe separates you from other agents or the agency from other agencies?
I'm definitely not better than anybody, but I answer my phone when they call me. That's what separates me. So if you want to be that person when your client calls you, he wants to talk to you. You make sure you answer the phone, and if you don't answer the phone, make sure you call back. I mean, the little things that make me different from a different agent. I'm here. I'm also here at the office. I'm not the type of agent that, the office is making money. Let me get out of the office. I feel that if you have a book of business and all these people trusted you with their, everything, home, model, I mean, you name it, you should be grateful and thankful, and you should be able to answer it just like you answer when they wanted the business, when they wanted the policy. So it's not just, we did the policy, let's move on. No, it's a ongoing process with the client. And if you keep doing that, now I'm insuring, I mean, I've been doing this close to 15 years. Now I'm insuring the kids of my previous clients. And I never thought I would say that, but now I'm getting invitations for parties of like, oh, my son is getting married. I'm like, wasn't your son like 10 years old when, oh yeah, he's 25 now. So, things like that. If you keep a good rapport with the dad, then the family will follow. Good referrals go fast, but bad referrals go faster. So don't be that guy.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It doesn't, I mean, that's why we're paid service commissions.
Right.
And you guys earn them, and that's great. So how did you market the agency when you started, and how is it different now?
Well, when we started, there was not, this was it. This was it right here. It's the business cards. If you have business cards at the office, there's a problem. So I will always pick, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So when we had no clients and we were looking for clients, I would walk out of my office with 10 business cards. And I had to, before I go home, I had to have nothing. I had to pass out 10 business cards a day. And that went a long way. So 10 business cards a day, that's how I started. And obviously knocking on doors, and a lot of doors closed on me and a lot of people turning me down. But sometimes when I had like two business cards left, I would just go to Safeway and pass them out, or I would go just Walgreens and pass them out. And not everyone's like, probably they'll throw them away, but they're not sitting on my desk. They're not going to do any good in sitting on my desk. But that's
it's the cheapest form of advertising.
Yeah.
And it's activity, like you said. If you're sitting here in the office, you can't write commercials sitting here in the office.
No, that's definitely not going to happen unless you have a huge book of business that you can already just make a call and tell them, hey, I know I already do your cars. Can you give me your business too? But people want to see someone actively go into the business.
Right.
I make it a point, if I'm like, the other day I was in Fairfield, one of my clients has a restaurant, I stopped by just to eat. I snapped a picture and he's like, oh, you support my business too. So, well, and all I did was just, I went and I just sat down for lunch, and I was going to do it anyway. So I might as well do it on my clients.
Well, that's one of the points. You're already doing it, but that's one of the points that we try to get across to, well, all agents, is that when something happens in the agency and it's positive, no matter how big or how small, get it on Facebook, get it on the website. I mean, sell the sizzle, show people you're out there, because like you said, you don't want to be in a situation where, you're really attentive when you're trying to write the business and then you forget about it.
Yeah, you can never
You
forget
can't.
about them.
Otherwise, the whole book's going out the back door. It's gonna. I forgot what it was. And you're still doing that today?
Yeah, still, if I'm sitting here and I don't feel like I'm doing anything productive, I just get out and I try to prospect, try to, put my face out there. I want to be that. I shouldn't say it like this, but I want to be the agent that other agents hate because, oh, we already know this guy, or when people hear my name, they're like, oh, don't even bother because we know he already did a good job.
You
So
got there first.
that's the plan.
Yeah. So where does the largest percentage of new business and policies and premium come from? And how has that changed over the years, or has it? So in other words, are you writing, I didn't look at it specifically to see, but let's talk about policies. You're going to have more autos and homes and all that stuff than commercial. Where is most of that coming from at this point?
Well, even though we write obviously a lot more personal policies, most of our money comes from commercial. So I want to say that like 30% of our business is commercial, and the other 70 is personal lines. But still, that 30% makes more money than the personal lines. And to answer the question will be, we try to keep a dense book where we keep control of everything. Because if you just grow that book, we want to grow it, but we want to be mindful that we have to service the client too. And it's 4 of us here in this office, and we all have a role. Some of us do everything. Some of us take care of renewals. Some of us take care of the cancellation list daily, and it's a process. It's a daily process.
So one of the things that you did, and this is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, it's always longer than it seems. About 3 years ago, you hired someone who is, at least right now, does other things, but he's writing the life.
Yeah. We were lacking, or I was lacking myself, because we're too busy. Well, we were too focused on commercial, and we were lacking life. So we decided to hire somebody that will help us with everything, but we'll get a specific training on life. That you ask Jose Luis a question about life, and he will answer it. You ask me, I'll have to check, which is not a bad thing. But if you ask Jose Luis, he'll answer on the money, what's that product. And so it's been working out. We're little by little pushing to do more, but definitely if there's something not happening, you have to make it happen. And sometimes you just have to hire somebody. And, I've always say it here in this agency. At one point, I want to be the dumbest person in the agency, because I want everybody to, exceed my expectations and exceed everything I do. And I mean it. At one point, I want everybody to be way smarter and way more qualified and knowledgeable than me. Because if that's the case, if everyone does that, then that means we're doing something good.
Right. And that's true. You do want your staff to be experts in certain areas and know more than you do. That's.
Yeah, I wanna be the guy that I say something and my staff corrects me. No, that's not how it works. And then I'm okay. Well, please explain.
Well, I must be doing that right, because I get corrected all the time.
There you go. Then
every
that's
day,
a good thing.
every hour, every minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a little redundant, but what would you say is the foundation of the agency?
कुछ जानदा बिन बोलिया सब किछ
we know what we have to do when we get here. We know what we have to do if we're slow. We know what we have to do if we're lacking on something. So the foundation is not the office, it's not the desk, it's not the computers, it's the team. The team is what makes this office go forward. I will always say it's a team.
I don't think you take enough credit. I always say that the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, and whether you feel that way or not, that's it sets the pace. And being positive, but also being a little demanding.
And a lot of
There's a
demanding.
lot of demanding. Okay, so good. Well, we already know the area of expertise is commercial. Why? And you also kind of explained why you gravitated toward it. What are some of the things that you have done? I mean, I know what they are, but I want the agents to hear some of the things that you've done to make yourself a better commercial producer, underwriter, loss control specialist. I mean, all those things, because I'm a firm believer that's why you write a lot of the business you write, because you know way more than they do, even about their own restaurant, whether it's the Ansel system or whatever it is.
Well, you have to educate yourself if you want to learn, and then it goes back to the same thing. You got to get out of the comfort zone. If you want to insure restaurants, learn about restaurants. If you want to insure warehouses, then learn about the warehouse. There's a lot of people that are like, what is there to learn about a warehouse? Well, the sprinkler system, the location of fire extinguishers. I mean, just do your homework. In my case, we started with the restaurants, and we were having issues with loss control, so I had to be a step ahead of the loss control rep, and that's when I decided to go and take the health inspection, county health department course and test, and then we had issues with the alcohol and beverages, and who was allowed to serve alcohol and who's not allowed to serve alcohol. And that's when I went to the ABC and I took the course too, and I took the test, and now I can walk into a restaurant. And there's been times where I walk into the restaurant and I'm like, why don't you have stools in your bar? And they're like, well, I didn't know I could have stools in my bar. And they're like, I tell them, yeah, you have this type of license, you're allowed to have stools in your bar. And that was a source of income that they were losing or lacking because they didn't know they can have stools in their bar. Or for example, when there's a loss control, I'll go a day before or maybe 3 days before to the restaurant, and I go straight to the things that they're gonna look at. They're gonna look at the freezers and refrigerators, and first thing, why is the meat on top and the vegetables on the bottom, and that's cross-contamination. So you have to learn. You have to educate yourself. If I can go on and talk about all the times that I run into a loss control person that told me, man, you know everything. And it's not that I know everything, it's that I actually took the time to read and take the course and actually pay attention to what they're gonna ask, because as we move forward, guidelines on underwriting they're getting tighter. So you have to make sure that when you get that loss control, you're prepared and your client is prepared, so you can keep renewing that client so that income can keep coming in.
And with restaurants, it's a lot of, or any commercial, it's a lot of how you submit it.
Mhm.
Is everything complete? Do you have the stuff that they're going to want? Are you giving them a link to their website?
Yeah.
Or so I'll give you guys an example that we went through with it was one of the Calderon locations.
Yeah.
I think the one in might have been the one in Hayward, where it was a tire dealer. And on the side of the building, they either had a sign or it was painted, "We sell used tires."
Mhm.
Well, they didn't sell used tires, but they had that sign there to bring people in to buy the used tires. Then they'd sell them new tires.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to insure a tire dealer who sells used tires for obvious reasons. So Andres went and determined that, and they took the sign down or painted over it.
Painted over it, and then then we explain, you know, we're not just taking it off. Is my client really just sells 90% of the business, because they're allowed to sell used tires, but it has to be a low percentage.
Right.
And they obviously use that as a hook to bring the client in and then sell them a new
A
tire.
bait and switch.
Exactly. And so we did that with them and all the other locations they have. And since then, they have been our clients.
So your job is to paint a picture so the underwriter doesn't have any questions.
Well, you know, and you have to do the right thing too.
Right.
You can't just remove that sign and then in a month you have a liability claim because they sold a used tire and the guy crashed or whatever.
Right. Yeah, we and Monica looks at most of these, but we see things where it says things on websites. Monica, what was that one? We had the guy, this is when Brian Fornesi was writing, and it said on his website that he installed the breathalyzers in cars.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we don't want any part of that because it malfunctions or whatever, something goes wrong. But he just bought the business. It was a prior owner, but who used to do that. But he said he doesn't want any part of that, isn't doing it.
Mhm.
So you had to get that clarification. So checking the website, I'm sure you do that.
Yeah, we always check the websites.
Because there's stuff there that maybe isn't accurate.
We had a shop that we had a similar situation. They bought the shop and they call it short blasting. So they actually put their hands and they sandblast little parts. What that machine was obsolete and it wasn't even working. They hadn't done that in years. But the fact that they had that on the website, he turned it down, and then I had to explain, hey, they don't do that anymore. So underwriting said, just take that off, and we'll do the business.
Yeah. So being an expert underwriter and knowing your way around loss control is a big deal.
Yeah. You have to submit the right things.
Right. How are you writing more each year? How are you making that happen? Because a lot of times, at least since you've been in District 88, it's been more every year. Is that?
I think it comes with the same thing I was saying earlier, that if you get out of the comfort zone and you actually raise that bar, you don't have to look at what you already did. You have to look at what you're not doing yet. So like right now we're raising the bar to try to catch bigger policies, to try to, you know, we're not just like, we love to do any commercial policy, but right now we're aiming to, especially with Craft Lake gives you another opportunity to submit commercial and not just turn down your client. And you know, that's another thing that your client will love you for helping him. Like if you tell them, look, we can't do it here, but we have this other option for you.
Right.
It's not farmers, but it's, you know, it's a policy, you know. The company has a lot to do with us being successful. For example, we have Craft Lake. Now we have different options to send the client. And that's obviously been helping us, you know, do better every year.
Right.
You know, and we raise the bar every year. And it's not like we program it, oh, we're gonna do this much this year. No, we know that what's done is already done. And if we did a good job servicing it, it's gonna renew no problem. So the last thing you wanna do is worry about renewals and then worry about new business. You just wanna worry about new business. So if you service a client the whole year and nothing really changed, and the client is just gonna renew automatically. So you just have to focus on new business. And if you could just focus on new business, you're gonna grow.
Right.
So
Okay, good. So what roles do the three people in the agency play? We talked about a little bit, but not much.
yeah, well, we all have a role here, and I give all the credit to the team. The team does amazing. Marcela, she's our CSR. She helps us with the phone. She takes care of the commercial list. She does a lot of the things that take time away from me or Moises. Moises, also, for the people that don't know, he's also part of this agency, big part of the agency. he takes care of commercial too. So we have a system in place where whatever live client comes in goes directly to Jose Luis. Whatever commercial comes, it's either going to go to Moises or myself. And any small little things that, for example, a client will come in to do a claim. We know Marcella can take care of the claim because she knows how to take care of the claims. And we all play the same role when it comes down to closing a claim. It's a big part. If you don't take care of the claim of the client during the claim, he will go somewhere else. So Marcella, it's our CSR. She takes care of the cancellation list daily. She also, the phone part I already mentioned. Then Jose Luis takes care of the life, but we all know how to write autos, homes, renters, whatever, you name it. But when it comes down to commercial, it's mainly Moises and myself because we I guess life has set us up like that.
Okay. So, so the sales process for you to write commercial, um, is it a combination of things? Is it following up on informational leads that you have, or a certain amount of probably is going back to people that maybe didn't write last year that you want to try to write again this year? But in terms of just generating, so if you're going to do something today to try to write a commercial policy or more, what would you do?
Uh, this is the process that we had when we started, and that's why we were so productive at the beginning. I'm really good at. I love people. I love talking to people. I love going out. I love meeting people, and on that process, I will get the client. I will send it to Moises, which he's most of the time at the office. I'll send it to him. He'll write the policy. Then if it gets approved, then I go sell the policy. But during that time, I was already outside getting more. So it was a process. I get, like we always say, I get the fish, he cooks the fish, then I go deliver the fish. And that's a process that worked for years.
So he's handling a lot of the backroom stuff, and
Right.
you're just the eye candy.
I try to do that. But there's times where if he's not here, then I have to, for example, he was on vacation all last week, and
Right.
then we have to manage, when he's not here, I'm here. When I'm not here, he's here. So that's why we're able to travel, and that's why we figured that if we want to have a quality of life, where we can travel and have time off, we have to help each other out. But Moises is a big part of this agency. For those that don't know Moises is a great. Um, he's a great person. First of all, one of my best friends, and he's great at commercial too. So that's I blame everything. Yeah, I can go get the clients, but if the back end of this is not running right, it's not going to go anywhere, and that frees my time for me to go get more clients.
Right. Okay. So commercially, how do you overcome premium objections? So if we're coming in high, maybe we max credits, whatever it is, and we're still high. Let's say.
You have to sell yourself,
Right.
and you're not gonna win them all, but you have to sell yourself. Look, I'm right here. I'm here every day. I answer your calls, and most of the people that came to us had already a bad experience with another agent, and that's been helping us. We haven't had a client that said, "Oh, I'm leaving because of the price." We most of the time when we cancel policies because they shut down the business, they sold the business, and usually 9 out of 10 they sell the business and they refer the new owner to us. But of course, there's always going to be that one client that, hey, what this company can do it better. I'm sorry, we don't compete with that company. If you change your mind, we're still right here. And
So, I mean, whether you realize it or not, obviously you said you sell yourself, you sell having Moises, you sell the operation. Maybe the farmer's name helps a little bit.
a lot.
Your loss control skills, your underwriting skills. and the service, which I'm certain they're not getting in other places. And how frequently do you see when you write a policy that something's missing, something was done incorrectly?
And most of the time, we always get a policy that was incomplete. We just wrote a policy where the client thought that he was fully covered, but he has three. He has one business in three different locations. It's three different warehouses. They all tied in together, and he was only covering one address. And so we had to add three locations. And he was like, "Well, I never knew I was supposed to have three locations." I'm like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to know. Your agent's supposed to know because
Right.
So when I went in there, I told him you have to have three locations listed on your policy. It might go up a little, but you are going to be covered, right? And that's what makes the difference between someone that just wants the business versus someone that really cares. Like I care, and I try to. Like, we haven't done that in a while, but when we had this company, and their losses were they had a claim almost once a year, or a lot of claims. When they came to us, we told them, hey, if you every month that you have a free claim free month, we're gonna buy you pizza. The whole
Mhm.
and that was only costing me $100, but the employees were looking forward to that pizza day.
Right.
And so that just created something where we stopped buying the pizza, and now the owner buys the pizza. And is it a stupid system? Yeah, it might sound stupid, but it worked. It worked for them.
Well, and that's what matters. And I think I've told you, but I'm on pretty good terms with Bob Herzog, who's the number one commercial guy at Farmers, and he's over in Pleasanton on Main Street. And you see, somebody asked him was when is the best time to take a commercial policy from another carrier? And he said the day after it's put in force, because they did something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you just
Sure.
confirm that. So just because somebody's policy's midterm or whatever, don't run from that.
And it also helped. I mean, it helps a lot when you show up to a client's business and they tell you, I've been with my agent 30 years. Oh, hey, look, I love loyalty too. So just give my card once he retires, or once you change your mind, call me. And that happened with a lot of clients. It's time flies. It really it sounds, I don't know, it sounds dumb, but time really flies to the point that agents are retiring, and those clients want someone like their previous agent. And
Right.
Most of the business people, they're eye to eye, face to face. They don't go online and buy a policy. Especially if it's commercial. And I always, I don't know how long we're going to be doing personal lines. I give it another, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 20 years, because internet is taking away from us a lot. And I'm not sure how long but commercial is never going to go away. Commercial, who knows how to write commercial. And I'm betting on that's going to keep us, afloat for I don't know, for the rest of my life, because I'm planning on doing this for the rest of my life. So
yeah, I think you're right about that. It's price driven, but there's so many variables. And like we were talking about last week on a particular situation, the gray area is usually good. It's because it's not black and white. You're in, you're out, you're whatever. So good. Okay. How do you go about asking for referrals? I think a lot, we talk to agents about it all the time. I think a lot of time it's either they're too busy just making a sale and getting the hell out of there before somebody changes their mind, or but asking for referrals is a huge source, especially after you help somebody.
We in this agency, we've been blessed to, get referrals without asking for them. I think that if you do a good job, they're gonna come in no matter what, and that's been proven over and over. We usually start with one client, and then that client, and usually business people, like if it's one lady that has a business, if she has a business, chances are that the brother has another business or the cousin has another business, and usually when one comes, the rest of them come, and you just got to do a good job to keep the referral coming. Because if you do a good job, people will know. But if you do a bad job, people will know faster.
Right.
So
Okay. What major hurdles can you think of that you've had to overcome, whether it's, since you opened the agency, personally, whatever you want to share, professionally for sure, just to get the point across that, stuff
it's
doesn't
just
always go how you plan it.
it definitely doesn't go how you plan it. And the main thing that I can tell the team, our team at District 88, just learn before you go. Learn before you say something that is going to get you in trouble. Because, or if you don't know the answer, just tell them, hey, I don't know the answer, but I'll come back with that answer. But I run into a lot of things that, yeah, the client, the guy was ready to give me the policy, but they will ask me questions that I didn't know, like workers' comp, like what's the rate? And I was like, my first work comp policy that I went and got myself, he asked me, what rates do you have? And me coming from mortgage, I'm like, well, I don't understand what the rate is. And I told him we have really good rates. At the time, farmers had really bad rates on work comp. And so I lost the client. But if I would have known that, we were not good with work comp, but good on liability, I would have sold the liability and then get the work comp because he was going to save money on the liability. I was naive. I was not, so those were the hurdles where I was like, my biggest issue right now is not knowing, is not preparing myself to go see a client. So that was my biggest hurdle, not preparing myself.
Well, and I guess when you are new, no matter how much preparation you do, still sometimes you have to maybe try to answer the question without answering the question and then come back to them afterwards after you really found out what the answer is.
Exactly.
So they don't lose confidence in you, and you're showing that additional follow-up and getting some brownie points there.
You always want to have that pen and paper to tell them, look, let me write your answer and I'll come back with that. And really, even if they don't buy it, call them, hey, you were right. This was my mistake. And I think that's the major hurdle that I run into.
You gain a lot of goodwill by doing that because most people won't do that.
No, you have to, if you say it, do it. Don't just say it. So I am that agent that I get calls at midnight and I answer the phone and I'm like, oh, you answered the phone? I was gonna leave a message. Oh no, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's okay. But you have to do something different because if you don't do it, they're gonna call someone else.
Right.
So,
Okay, good. What do you think policyholders appreciate most about you and or your agency?
I believe the service, giving good service. I don't compete with people that bring a Geico policy here saying, can you bid this? I tell them, no, we can't. And I'm honest. You want price, this is not the place. But look, you came to an agency and you're able to see that we're here. You call me and I'm going to answer the phone. You have an issue, we're going to be there. And I stand by with farmers pays. And that's the biggest thing.
I suppose that commercial claims
is a big thing.
Big thing.
I just had one of my clients' restaurant on Mission in Hayward. A car just went in, and I was having dinner Friday night. I was having dinner, and when they called me, I answered. And I told them exactly what to do, and I also made relations with construction companies, and some of my clients, they run their own construction company. I told them, don't worry about it. I'm gonna send somebody over there to board it up, and then we'll figure it out. And so I called one of my clients and I told them, can you please go board this up? They boarded it up and I opened the claim next day in the morning. That was Friday when it happened. By Monday morning, the adjuster was already sending a check. But that's the process that I know that some other people won't know. And some people are scared to call because they know that boarding a place is going to cost them. Yeah, it cost me some money, but I got reimbursed.
Right.
So it's not, and I look really good in front of the owner of the building because he's my client and he rents so client A owns the building, client B is also my client, rents the building. So I look really good in front of both of them because I was there.
Right.
So,
and as opposed to maybe a water damage at somebody's house, this is a situation where it affects their ability to keep that house because it's what's driving revenue into the household.
exactly. And I mean, and I told them what to do. You take this right here with plastic and you're able to run your business. Just board it up until you fixed it.
Right.
And sure enough, the county showed up and they told them, can we see where the damage is at? County, and by that I mean the health department. And they saw that it's already taped with plastic and there's no contamination for the public. And this is different times. $1 is $1 for a restaurant right now.
Right.
So they had just opened the restaurant. It was the first night they opened and the car just went in. So they were able to run the business and they were able to, score on some extra cash that they possibly, someone that didn't know what to do would have told them just close the place.
Right.
So that's you have to think like you're the owner of the business because, that could be your family member, and a lot of businesses are struggling right now. We have clients that might not open their business again, but clients that didn't open here because of the pandemic, now they're going to open somewhere else and they came back to us. So.
Got it. What are your goals for the immediate future?
Well, the goal is to keep moving forward. We, if we did one, we want to do two next year, or 1.5, just progress. Little progress is still progress. So the point is the goal is not to lose. The goal is to keep moving forward. Even if it's an inch, it's still moving forward. So
thinking big is part of that process.
always.
Okay. So other than coming to District 88 sooner, okay, if you could change one thing in your career, what would it be?
No, definitely. To everyone that don't know, I had two other district managers, and much respect to all of them, but we did not start. There was no structure. There was no structure when I was with different district managers. Not because he's sitting here, but I tell him all the time. And there's agents in LA that they always tell me this is that you guys are lucky to have Kevin. So it's true. I feel lucky, and I feel like we have been moving forward with a steady pace since we moved to District 88. And District 88 has Sylvia, Monica, Barney, and we're lucky to have that, because when we were with a different district manager, I'm not going to say names, but to even switch a policy from agent to agent, it wasn't possible. But anyway, what would I do different? I think that I'll take it the same way. I don't think I would change it. I mean, it takes time. It's not from one day to another. It's something that no one can buy. I don't care how much money you have. Is experience. Right. You cannot buy experience, and that's something that.
Well, the only way you can do that, like you said, tell me if I'm wrong, is to get out of your comfort zone and just 100%. Go do it. You're gonna make mistakes. You
have to make mistakes, and you have to go and embrace your mistakes, because that's the only way you're gonna learn. Right. I'm not sure how can I explain it, but if you see fire and it looks so beautiful, you try to grab it, you're gonna burn yourself. You won't do it again.
Right.
But that's the only way you're gonna learn. They can tell you, oh, it's hot, be careful. But we try to get out of the comfort zone every day. And it sounds like a commercial, but the comfort zone is a dangerous place. You will not succeed in the comfort zone. So
Good. So questions, Monica, do we want to open it up for people to chat in questions?
If anybody has a question, go ahead and chat it in
I don't think
so
she
that
can
we could
hear
go
us,
ahead.
but,
You could either chat it directly to me or to Andres himself.
Is that done?
this is Lena. Have I ridden mobile food trucks? Yes, we.
Can you make it, can we expand that just to, yeah.
Oh.
Jesus.
Here. Better.
Yeah.
There was a question, have I ridden food trucks? Yes, we do all the time. One of our main source of clients, we insure a lot of food trucks to Lena, yes. And we are pretty competitive, very competitive compared to other companies. So I'm not sure, maybe you have to talk to your underwriting team and let them know, hey, this is their quote, this is the policy, and I need to get close to that quote, and 9 out of 10, they'll help you.
What are a couple of the secrets to doing a good job writing food trucks?
It's not, so if you want to get the best price on a food truck, you will have to link it to a restaurant. So if they have a restaurant, you can have the food truck, and that'll be the cheapest way. But if it's just a food truck, standalone food truck, we're pretty competitive, because even Progressive is not that competitive anymore. It used to be super cheap with Progressive, not no more. We are pretty competitive.
So, okay, I was going to ask you, what percentage of the food trucks out there do you think are associated with restaurants? More not than are?
So there's I want to say most of the restaurants have a food truck now, but there's something there's and especially in Oakland, they link it to that place where you go cook. So if you're linked to that, you also get for example, let's say this office right here, you can come and cook your food, so you can take it on your food truck. If you're linked to this, if you link your food truck to this place, they'll give you a discount too, because they know it's not a standalone food truck. The issue with standalone food trucks is that they will always question, well, where do you cook your food before you take it to the truck? So if you have a place where you cook and you can prove that you were there, then it's a little bit cheaper. But overall, we're pretty competitive.
Either way.
Yeah, we're pretty competitive. And then Amy, she's asking how many staff I have. It's 3 plus myself, so it's 4 of us. And then Monica, question from Maggie. If you're gonna quote, that's for Monica, the question you asked for Maggie. If you're gonna quote high premiums, you always want to call Monica. She will help you. She will help you. So write the policy, then call Monica and let her know, I just wrote this. Thank you, Monica.
Monica, do you feel yourself sliding under the bus?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, but that's what I would do. Every time we write something high premium, I always I let her know. I don't tell her, hey, write this quote, but I tell her, I just wrote this. Can you please keep an eye on it? There's always going to be roadblocks and hurdles, but if you underwrite your policy before you submit, your client before you submit it, you should be fine.
So in this year, you've had success not only with restaurants like every other year, but also some larger risks like drywall contractor,
drywall companies, and then transporting companies, commercial auto. No one will believe Farmers is doing commercial auto, but if you write commercial auto along with liability, Farmers will usually,
doing well.
Yeah, will do it, and
right.
that's that was, like I said, that comes with experience. That doesn't just show up, and I wouldn't know that if I didn't run through that issue before, where I was told bring the liability with the commercial auto, and we might have a deal. So every now when I go to a client and I tell them, well, you have these issues with commercial auto, but if you give me the liability and I submit together, you're probably gonna get it. So
Right.
I think that's it, right?
Too far away.
Amy. Oh, Amy. I love Kevin too. There you go.
Known Amy for a long time.
All right. And she says she has an audio clip. Monica, you have an audio clip? Sorry, I just
Oh,
saw this,
yeah.
or not no more.
Well, we had, so what we, no, she said no. So what we
Okay.
did is, did everybody else hear it by any chance, Monica? Gosh darn it. So, yeah, so we've done intro and outro music or whatever you want to call it. We did it for Tony's. We did it for
Okay.
yours, and this sucks. You'll hear it, and
Okay.
it would have been, I lost track of it when we were having the technical difficulties, but is there anybody else?
Monica just sent a question for Amy at a nails office. I don't know a good way to put this in the Roblox one. What high premiums from do you have any insurance success stories from 2020? I have a lot of great success stories from 2020. I can share some. A lot of my clients that sold their restaurant because they couldn't keep up with it. The new client, the new owner came to us directly. Another one, and I don't know if it's success story, but I can tell you that if you do commercial, you will lose on your premium, but if you do commercial and you have the power to help the client, will be reducing premiums. Obviously, you'll take a hit, but then, for example, in work comp, I reduced all the payroll before they told me anything. And when they got a lower bill, they were like, "Well, what happened? It's lower." Oh, well, we know you're not employing all these people, so your payroll went down. So we lower your payroll, but when you reopen, we'll increase it again. And now we're seeing the benefits of that was the client was able to have a small bill, and now that we're increasing the premium of the payroll, our premium is coming back. And in 2020, as Kevin knows, it was possibly my best year yet. I'm hoping 2021 is going to be hard to beat 2020 for us. So it sounds, sounds funny, but yeah, 2020 was my best year yet. So 2021, we're trying to push.
And if we're talking commercial, I know the same thing was true for Patrick Rodriguez, right, Patrick?
Yes,
Is the
sir.
volume turned down?
Yes.
No, and that is true because he was doing exactly what Andres was talking about. Even in troubling times, he was out, pounding the pavement, beating the bushes, and he was getting in front of people, which is again what Andres is talking about. You have to do that with commercial because you're not just renting a car. It's a place. There's no standard quirks to all restaurants. So, yeah. And I believe, last year was Tony's best year too. And I'll tell you that, Christy Santos did not issue 93 life policies by,
There's
not doing what you needed to do. Is there another one?
there's a question from Anna.
Uh-huh.
Did we say that farmers will write drywall? If it's a construction company, chances are it's not. If it's a drywall construction company or that falls in that category, they will not do it. I tried, but this business, they sell drywall. It's drywall and supplies, so it's more like a retail.
Or a wholesale distributor.
A wholesale distributor where again, if we did the liability along with the commercial auto, they have about 18 trucks. So that together made the perfect perfect, I guess, fit for the appetite of the underwriter. And we also went through a few. It was not just, oh, write it and it's approved. It was harder than that. But again, I credit Moises a lot for taking care of certain things that before submitting. So we took care of, we did our homework and then we submitted. But it's two different things. Drywall business and wholesale of drywall. It's two different businesses. So I try to submit construction companies drywall or stucco or different things to farmers that will not take it. It's not our appetite. So that's the answer to that. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Any last minute questions for Andres?
I think.
Okay. So I will say that, the beauty of doing these webinars, which have been fun for me, a lot of the information I already know, whether it's Tony or Andres or in a couple of weeks with Christy. It's the beauty of it is each one of these stars is doing things completely differently. And that's the beauty of it to me. The analogy I always use, if in the Webster dictionary, if there was a definition of a farmer's agent, there'd be just one of those silhouettes. There'd be no picture because every single one of you people is different. And that's the beauty of it. That's the fun of it. And that's why everybody working in the district office gets such a thrill with, working with you guys every single day. So, okay. So we recorded this. It is, we will post it on YouTube so you can go back and view it, just like Tony's is already there. And so you can go back and reference it if you have questions about, anything that Andres said. And the beauty of that is if it's things you want to continue to review, you just mark the time, when they show up in the video to continue to, go back and refer to. So I whether it's Tony or Andres or Christy, these people are all givers. And I know agents will call Andres from time to time, asking him questions. And I don't think I'm out of line by saying, hey, if you have a question about something he said, give him a call. Should I give that?
No, it's just Amy saying thank you so much for sharing your thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I'm not special, and I say that I say it again. I'm not special. I just like everyone in here would just try to make it happen, and that's the plan, and we just need to stick to it. And yeah, my information. I'm not sure if I guess Monica can put my information there. If anybody has any questions, I'm always open to. I'm not an expert, but if I haven't answered, I'll be more than happy to help you guys.
So the number at the office is 510-895-6000. And I'll just end by saying, for you guys out there, whenever somebody says they are not special, they are. And that's the humility part. So anyway, we got to think of a name for our little net broadcast network here, Channel 88, whatever it is. But anyway, thanks everybody for listening. We had 30 some odd people. That's great. If you got questions, certainly ask them, whether you actually call Andres or ask Monica or ask me or ask Barney. Just don't not ask. Okay. So everybody, have a good rest of the day, and make it a super productive week. And for anything you need, just give us a call.
And get out of that comfort zone.
That's right. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay.
All right.
Adios.